This is WSUR, and I am the crazy one, Crazy G, and you're locked into the G spot. And we kicked that set off with something from the newest Black Label Society, Damn the Flood, and this last track was something new from an incredible band, Mushroomhead. That was the track Devils Be Damned, and that's off their newest CD, The Righteous and the Butterfly, which is unbelievable. Speaking of which, we're going to go to the phone right now, and we have Skinny, drummer for Mushroomhead, on the phone. You there, man?
Hey, what's happening, man? Thanks for having me on.
No problem. First of all, I want to say welcome, and I want to thank you. You know, we've tried this a couple times before, and I know you guys are very busy on tour, and I do appreciate it beyond belief. So I wanted to get that out of the way first.
Right back at you, man. Right back at you. We appreciate it as well.
Thanks for taking the time to hit the G spot. What is new, man?
Man, you know, this year has just been crazy busy. Doing a lot, you know, ever since September of last year, actually October of last year, or September is when we started the tour. October 23rd was our 20-year anniversary, so we're celebrating our whole 20th year. We're spending the whole year with the anniversary. We did, February, we did the Soundwave out in Australia, which was a huge festival. First time we ever got to do that. Came home, did a one-off in Moscow, Russia. Never been there either, so that was pretty heavy duty. And then came home to kick off the album release, did a quick little 2 weeks in the States run just to support the new album. So, man, lots been going on. We just hit 3 continents in 2 months, and we're gearing up for the Mayhem Fest.
Dude, that is, like, totally amazing. Mushroomhead is a band that strives to create something different in every aspect of its existence. Can you tell us a little bit about how the ride has been for you ever since the band's inception?
I'll tell you, it's definitely been a crazy ride. I have not unbuckled the seatbelt, not once. It's a lot of turns, a lot of flips, and a lot of getting stuck in the mud. And, you know, in 20 years you see quite a bit. But I'd say one of the biggest inspirations, you know, in doing 7 albums and just staying fresh is just keeping an open mind, experimenting, and just trying to not really outdo yourself, but push yourself as an artist, not just as a musician, not as a drummer or a guitar player. It's like, you know, you just really want to try each aspect and every avenue possible. You know, I don't like being pigeonholed. I don't like, you know, having one style. And yeah, and you can kind of hear what I'm talking about on the new album, Righteous and the Butterfly, because, you know, we blend a lot of textures and beats and ambient tones and just heaviness together in just in a different way. It's not typical, and it's kept me fresh.
I was just going to mention, and I'm glad you brought it up, the newest release, The Righteous and the Butterfly. I thought it was your 12th album, but you corrected me. It's your 7th. The whole CD is mind-shattering beyond comprehension. What was the idea behind the making of this CD? I know you mentioned you always want to better yourself, so was that the idea going into this?
You know, this time around, with the return of J-Man, the addition of Dr. F on bass and Church on guitar, there was some new blood and some old, you know, flames being rekindled. It was very much, you know, a conscious collective. Everyone really collaborated well and wanted to, you know, see what we could bring out of, you know, put a new twist on, you know, on an old subject, so to speak. We, you know, didn't want to step outside of our bounds too much, but we didn't want to let anything hinder us. But again, you know, I have to say a lot of the positive reinforcement came from, you know, some of the new guys.
Well, the sound is definitely crushing, and the first track, Our Apologies, introduces this CD with potency and brutal force. How did you guys approach this track when you went to write it?
You know, it's funny. It reminds me of, like, the Save Your Sorrow album 2 albums ago. The first song on that was called 1200. This one, on the new one, is called Our Apologies. I remember this very vividly. These were the last songs written for the album, and they ended up being first. There was, it seemed when we were doing this, The Righteous and the Butterfly, there was a lot of really good violence. There was a lot of good upbeat stuff. Going through it as a producer, I just kept pushing for, you know, I wanted a big hook. I wanted a good sing-song style right off the gate, kind of ripping your face off. Not over the top like death grind metal or anything, but I wanted the attention before the match is lit, you know what I mean? To where it's, hey, this is a fast wick, watch this, you music, or be careful before you like that type of thing. You know what I mean? It was very much one of those. Like it was, like I said, it was one of the last things written, and I felt that the album needed it, and it went really fast, and I thought it came out great. It's still one of my favorite songs.
It's an amazing track. It really is. And another superlative track is Devil Be Damned. What is the story behind it, and what was the thought process like for this song?
That one, again, very conglomerate, kind of pass the files around. We have our own studio here in Cleveland, and we've got a couple different rooms, and you could literally have some drums and some guitar tracks going, and take a little stem mix of that, take it into another room, and I could sit down with Waylon and start working on some vocals. He'd be writing the verse, I'd be writing a hook. Tom would to be in the other room layering keyboards. That one was kind of the same. Like, everyone was just on it kind of all at once, and within a couple of days the thing just, you can hear 8, 9 guys on it. There's that many textures going on.
And that's what I love about it, because each one of these tracks has that. It has something different. It's not, it's weird, because I expected to hear maybe the same kind of beats or rhythms throughout, and, maybe one if I was lucky. The whole thing is incredible. We Are the Truth is another outstanding song. It's got a really sinister sound and slamming beat to it. What was the concept behind that track?
That one's really interesting, because the one that's on the standard version, of the album, we were just kind of going for something dark, kind of creepy. We wanted it upbeat, but we didn't want it upbeat to the point of it where it's violence. The majority of the hooks or the rhythms and verses in that, there's a lot of Tom playing on the drums. There's a lot of bouncing rhythm. Live, there's a slightly different version, and it's a little faster and more upbeat. Actually, if anyone picked up the Best Buy version, it had 3 bonus tracks of We Are the Truth. There's the faster live one. There's like a silly prank phone call remix, and then there's a super electronic EDM remix of it as well. So if people are fans of that, anyone's fan of that tune, try to find a Best Buy version. There's 3 other versions of that song on there. Really cool stuff.
The Righteous and the Butterfly is truly a work of art in every aspect. This being the band's 7th album, do you find the creating process getting easier with time? There may be a few, including yourself, that has to really work at it. Do you find yourself having to do that?
Yeah, we definitely strive, like, obviously the good ones write themselves. Everyone says that, and, this album kind of almost did in a lot of ways. It damn near did write itself. However, if you knew where the good ones came from, you'd go there every time, and then your album would fucking sound all the same. It would sound the same all the time. And that's not what we go for. We go for what our moods are and what we're feeling. The sun isn't out every day. It's not raining every day. You're not happy every day. You're not sad every day. You're not angry. So it's kind of, it literally is art imitating life. And to just have one mood, one speed, one tone, to me, that there's no art in that. And there's nothing wrong with making music if that's what you're into. And by the end of the day, that's really what matters. If you're in a band, as long as you like it, you're creating art because you're an artist. We are just fortunate enough to have some longevity, and people actually like what we do. So we're just going to continue making art. It doesn't come any easier, though. Not when you care that much, We've got a lot of unfinished pieces, art, where they say it's never finished, only abandoned. I'm very much on that end of it. But, yeah, I have to work very hard. Still have to practice as a drummer. I started late. It wasn't some prodigy kid who just, those guys, you can tell those kind of people, they just pick up an instrument and can do anything. And I know a ton of really nice, amazing guitar players and really amazing vocalists and stuff like that, but they just had day jobs and never got out and pursued their dreams. Say, well, I'm going to be broke for a long time, but do I want to be an artist or do I want to be broke? And, I think the ones that really mean it are the artists, and, man, the proof's in the pudding. Just press play on someone's CD. You can tell if they're honest or not. The fans can tell if they're honest.
You make a good point. I mean, obviously you guys do take pride, and you seem like the type of person, it's got to be just right. If it's not just right, then you know what? Get rid of it. Scrap it. Do whatever you got to do to it. Mushroomhead has a vast range of musical influences. Who are some of your personal favorites? I think it's more genre-based than it is any individual band. I mean, obviously, all the early
late 80s, early 90s metal bands were a huge influence. Because, Jeffrey Nothing and I had come from a pretty technical heavy metal band at the time. But, I was very much into a lot of hip-hop, a lot of techno and EDM, gabber house music is what it was called in the early 90s, with the raves and the technos. Very much that's what got me into samplers and drum machines. And then trying to incorporate some of those kinds of styles with, chugging heavy riffs or, some brutal vocal, or flip-flop it and put some really melodic, somber vocals and strings, keyboards over top of some very metal beats. It was very much, the metal genre, the hip-hop genre, the electronic genre. Those, I wanted to kind of infuse all those elements, but still maintain a very heavy band.
Especially with 8 members in the band. What is it like when you guys get together to start constructing new material? Now, I know you said on this album it was a consensus of collaboration, or more or less. Do you feel that every time you guys get to work, even with what you just said, everybody's genre may be different? Isn't it kind of difficult to incorporate their particular genre, if that's what they're trying to do, into yours, so to speak, or vice versa?
Sometimes it definitely comes across as forced, trying to, I have a hip-hop idea, or I have a break beat that I would really like to, electronic break beat I really like to hear in those guitars. Sure, spend an hour, program some stuff in, layer it into the file and see how it plays along with a song. Now, you're either going to squint really hard and go, ooh, or you're going to be like, wow, that's really interesting. So, literally throw the sink at it. A lot of these ideas, we wouldn't have them if we didn't try. The bogus ones, obviously, right away are, nope. Sometimes the other ones are like, that's interesting, let's try a different approach. Or that same thing could maybe work in another song. So, I'm very glad that we're all on the same page right now. This album was very much on the same page, and, no one was like so in love with their own idea that it got changed or it didn't get worked on. It is very much an artist compound over there.
That's really...
Key, man.
Yeah. The existence of Mushroomhead, I gather, involves a lot, all the way down to your masks. You decided to adopt these masks due to the fact that you were all involved with other projects. What was the idea with the development of them? Are they characters you all created on your own, or were they preconceived visions well beforehand?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of it was just, the evolution. That's probably the best way I can say it, the evolution of the masks. When we had started off very, zero money, no label, say first album, first set of shows, it was very much, thrift store kind of, costume shop kind of, that sort of thing, to where, just try to come up with something cool, come up with your own image, come up with, what you think would, best describe your role in this band. So it was constantly changing and evolving, and then we got to the point where we wanted to incorporate, we call it the X face, it's our logo. We wanted to incorporate that. So that's when the black masks and the white X face and teeth, where we all started wearing the same thing. So we went from the thrift store to a very uniform thing to each guy slowly but surely kind of creating their own stuff. Still, including the logo, which is, the X face. So, it's constantly, as soon as you see it, it says Mushroomhead without spelling all 12 letters. So, over the last 3 albums, those have kind of morphed with each individual guy's either taste or what they think looks cool, or even functionality, that it didn't change that much, but man, I could breathe way better in the new one on stage, or I could see better or hear better. It's that kind of thing. Because it's very much, you get a head cast done, the life cast, and then you put the clay on the life cast, and then, you sculpt the clay, and then you mold the clay, and then you clean the mold out, and then you pour the latex in. Then you paint it, and you add, the things like, dreadlocks or headphones or, the accessories. So it's quite the process, but again, a lot of us who, we really enjoy that aspect of art too, and just, again, it's a release.
All of them are totally awesome. I did happen to notice a little bit of changing in the past few years. That's why I had to ask the question. The fans of Mushroomhead are devoted to you 150%. Is there anything you would like to say to them listening right now?
Oh, man, all I can do is thank you. I can't thank you enough, but I'll say thank you again. It feels so good to be in other states and other countries and having, people sing your words, meeting fans. still enjoy doing signings and getting out there. I'll tell you a quick story. A couple years back, I was in a side project, Jeffrey Nothing solo album. Went to Australia for the first time and played. Our first show was Perth, Australia. A bunch of kids came up, Mushroomhead tattoos, all kinds of old albums and overseas versions of stuff that I've never seen before. I don't have a copy of this. This looks great. So, being halfway around the world, like I said, people singing your songs, people coming up to you with tattoos, telling you how much, your music got them through like a certain tough point in their life or something like that. That to me means more than, a Billboard chart or a gold record or anything. Like that means, on a human level, we were able to communicate to someone, and that, to me, that's key. I mean, that's why we're all here. Ultimately, I think is to communicate and learn and get further in life. So, very blessed to have had those conversations with people.
Right on track with you there. I totally agree with you on that one. And I've taken up enough of your time here. I know you're very busy. You guys are on tour. I appreciate it. I want to thank you. I want to thank the band for allowing you to do this.
Thank you again, man.
And I want to thank New England Concert Reviews as well. I wish you the best. I wish The Righteous and the Butterfly huge success, because I have a feeling it will be. It's an incredible CD, and the best of luck on your tour, man, once you hit the States.
Right on, man. Thank you so much, man. Just all I can ask is spread the word, brother.
I will, man.
All right, peace, man. Thank you so much.
All right, peace. That was Skinny, drummer for the band Mushroomhead. Their new CD is really incredible. Whether you like the hard stuff or not, check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed with any of it. It's called The Righteous and the Butterfly. Again, I want to thank Skinny, drummer from Mushroomhead. I want to thank New England Concert Reviews for setting this up. I'm going to play this track again, and then I'm going to be out of here. I will be back on Friday for the G-Spot, so make sure you tune in. Until then, have a good one. We'll talk soon. This is Mushroomhead, Devils Be Damned, right here on WSUR.